Welcome back, my friends, to the Moto Guzzi show that never ends. Oil change time on the old girl. She's now done 134 miles. And we just came back from a run last night, and I thought it'd be a good time to drop the oil and see what things look like. So let's start at the rear end, being as that's the closest. Now, this had a second-hand crown wheel and pinion put in it because the original was worn out because it'd been run with water in there. It had a hypoid 80-90 put in there, recommended amount. I've drained it into a juice bottle so that we can have a look at it. It is discolored. Gear oil does go discolored once it's got warm. You can see a browny tinge, which I think is the last of the rust particles. That although it was cleaned out as much as I can with a solvent, obviously there's still little bits of rust hanging on in the small pores of the metal and around various bits and pieces. So that's all come out. I can't see any big chunks in it. These old bottles are good because they've got the ribs so they catch any particles. So can't really see anything there, but it does have a little sump on the bottom, and you'll notice that there's some material there. Now, it's not hard, it's not gritty, it's very, very soft. So what I think that is some of the grease that I put in there. I greased the bearings, and I always put some grease on the seals as well, just in case the thing has to stand for a few months and corrosion might get in there. You don't know, but anyways, I think that's what that is. It's not gritty. It's just a little more dense than the oil, so it sank to the bottom. So I'm happy with that. Gearbox oil is again discolored. It's a little bit cloudy. You can see a bit of brown in there, so I think that's although there's very, very little of it. I think the camera exaggerates it, but I'm happy with that. That's obviously the last of the rusty oil that was coming out from between the gears and everything. Although I did clean it as much as I could, you can never get 100% off, and there will still be some that will adhere to the gears, and that will release itself as the gearbox goes through its heat cycles as the bike is being used. So I'm happy with that. Again, I can't see any big particles in there. Can't see any particles, only see bubbles. So I'm happy with that. Very happy with that. Again, we're going to run the bike for 500 miles this time before we change the oil again. And the engine, the engine is a different matter. That oil, it's 2050 mineral oil, and it's only done 134 miles, and it's black. Now, if you recall, this engine was as black as a diesel, if not blacker inside, and I put that down to the fact that the cam chain tensioner had dissolved, was no longer there, and the rubber had pulverized and was being pumped around the engine. The oil pump on this bike was perfect, so it hadn't done any damage there. So I think what we're seeing here, the blackness of the oil, is the last of that rubber. Now, one-handed, I'm going to cause a disaster here because I'm going to tip this oil out and see if there's any bits and pieces in it. Oh boy, here we go. Prepare for a disaster. Right, so I think that's good enough. I can't see any big chunks in there. And the things that you can see are they're on the outside of the jug. So yeah, no big bits and pieces. Just black oil. The sump plug. A little bit of gunge on it. A little bit of gunge on it, not much. So, and it feels soft and not gritty. Feels soft and not gritty, so that's probably the big ends. Big ends just bedding in a little. Maybe a little bit off the piston rings because of the hard Nikasil bores. But nothing to be concerned with. No big frosty snowflakes sticking up off it. So all in all, I'm happy. I'm happy. We're cleaning the muck out of her. So I think that was the ideal time to do the oil change. I was aiming for 125 miles, but I went a little bit over. 10 miles, nothing. So we'll run her for 500 miles and we'll do the same again. Synthetic oil in the rear end, synthetic oil in the gearbox, mineral oil in the engine. A high ZDDP engine oil. The reason I'm not going synthetic in the engine is mainly due to cost. The Guzzi engine, like a lot of engines of this era, doesn't have an oil filter. And the way to keep the oil clean is to change it often. It's 3 litres and the oil costs about between $10 and $12 a litre, so it's not that expensive. Synthetic oil is double the price. And the ZDDP levels in the synthetic oil are exactly the same as they are in the Mobil. Sorry, not the Mobil, the mineral oil. I'm not going to go into oil choice or anything like that, but suffice to say that I use an oil that is high in ZDDP and it is designed for flat tappets. So all happy there. It doesn't share oil with the gearbox or the clutch, so I can use a specific oil just for engines. So there we go. All's good. Very happy with what I'm seeing. Well, I'll put new oil back in and I will talk to you next time. Until then, look after yourselves, take care of one another. Keep the rubber side down, keep the Guzzi side up, keep it shiny, enjoy your summer and all your riding. Goodbye.